Hey guys. All right, for practice today, Tatum Bethune will not practice, ankle, Samo ankle won't practice, Eddie Pinheiro hamstring won't practice, Luke Gifford will be limited, Christian McCaffrey vet day, rest. Go ahead.
Robert Beal's back to normal?
Yes.
Is Samo's injury concerning that it could be long-term?
Yeah, it's going to be at least a couple weeks, high ankle sprain, so it's going to be some time.
What do you think of Curtis Robinson getting out there? When I asked him about his, coming in for Tatum, he said, there were some things I needed to clean up. This game, he said the same thing, but you congratulated the defense. What did you think of him out there,
I thought he had a real good game. It was real clean. I thought he ran the defense real well, got us in and out of a lot of things, made all the right calls, and it was a real good first game for him.
What were your draft thoughts on Jier Sanders, and were you surprised he went in the 5th round, and what do you recall about that whole?
I didn't put a lot of time into him personally. I knew our coaching staff thought he was a good player. The tapes that they showed me, I thought he was a good player also. Yeah, it did surprise me, just going a little bit later when he did, just hearing what everyone was estimating and stuff, but I've been in enough drafts to know that not much should surprise you.
Jier had the interception in the end zone. You guys have had a few plays down the goal line this year getting takeaways. Why are you able to pull that off so successfully?
I mean, when they give you the opportunity, you got to catch it. And he was given the opportunity. You saw what the quarterback was trying to think, going back to that tight end, and Jier just being free on that play, playing with vision, going and making that play. And other places on the field, we've had a few opportunities and dropped him, a few tips and things like that. And down there, it stuck to us a little bit more.
Talk about his progress this year. I mean, it seems like he's playing at a really high level. It's been a little up and down previously for him.
Yeah, Tig's been awesome. I mean, just, when he first starting here, he replaced Huff when Huff got injured. I believe it was Huff's ACL injury. And then Tig played a real high level all the way to the Super Bowl and into the next year. And he was in and out a little bit when Huff came back. But this offseason went through a lot of rehab stuff, missed some time with camp, missed some time in the offseason. Gave guys other opportunities, which had him start off not in a safety role, which I can't tell you guys how good he handled that. He really became a very good player on special teams, which is how he started out. He was unbelievable in our big nickel role. And really just with how he was handling both of those roles, we wanted to make sure we gave him an opportunity back at safety before Malik came back. And when we did, he did well in that role, and he's kept the job and is getting better and better each week.
What is it about his play in particular that's really improved?
I mean, he's played like this before, so I don't want to say like he's just overall improving. I thought he played at a high level when he came in as a rookie and played for us. But I think just stringing together these weeks, when you're in and out throughout the off season with the surgery he had and the injuries in training camp, it's hard to just get better each week. And I think stringing together whatever these weeks are, 6 weeks or whatever it is, maybe more, he's been starting. You can just see him getting more consistent, getting more confident, doing his job great, and also knowing when to cheat his job and take some of the tips and knowing when to make some educated guesses and stuff. And that's the way you make plays out there, by doing that stuff. You can't get carried away with it, though, because that's the way you give plays to the other team. And I think he's found a real good balance at that each week.
Kyle, can you remember about watching Dion as a kid, and now how full circles is that you're facing his son?
It is weird just because he was my hero growing up. He was probably the #1 player just in terms of being a true fan of. I always talk about how he got his jersey in '94 and wore it for about 6 months straight until someone jacked it from me. I'm still looking for that guy. But no, he was such a unique player. He was just different than everyone, his talent and everything. And now to watch him be a coach and to watch him raise, I think he's got 3 boys, but to watch the 2 boys in sports has been really cool to watch. And I know my wife, my daughter, they're huge Colorado fans too, and so I get to hear about Buffaloes all the time.
What challenges do you see from Myles Garrett, being that you guys are up against him this week, him for the offense going into this week? How are you preparing for that?
I'm just preparing to go against one of the best pass rushers ever. So it's a huge challenge.
What will be your process
To prepare for the potential inclement weather?
We won't go in the bubble this week. Hope that it rains for us a little bit, get our mind right for it. I showed him a bunch of video this morning of what it looked a year ago. I think this day there versus Pittsburgh, just a blizzard and stuff, and told them to expect it. Be surprised if it's not that way. And You expect it to be that way, so you get your mind right and you don't walk out Sunday and be shocked by anything. Besides that, we'll work enough to make the balls wet that way, but we're not going to water them down or anything.
In the second half, you guys didn't take any shots down the field. Was that by design with how the first half goes, or why was that?
I mean, it's not like when we take a shot downfield, the play isn't called take a shot downfield. It depends on how they're covering it, you know. And we had 3 plays in those 3 picks in the first half. You know, I think 2 of them he was number 2 in the progression, 1 he was number 1. Most of the plays later didn't have as many deep plays, but we called a couple of those same plays again, just didn't get the right read. It just plays out that way sometimes.
A glove for Brock Purdy. I mean, does it make sense for him to practice with a glove if it's, you know, going to be different temperature here in practice versus in Cleveland?
Yeah, I always personally believe if you know you're going to do something on Sunday and it's going to be different, then you want to practice with it. But I always feel that's up to the individual. I mean, they're the ones who go through it. They're the pros. It's not like me suggesting to a middle school kid on how to handle his first element game. You know, those guys have an idea what they're comfortable with, what they want to do, and I haven't talked to him about that yet, but I'm sure that's something I'll be thinking about throughout the week.
Some of the numbers show special teams wise, you guys have taken a big step forward. I know some of that is just making kicks versus not making them, but what have you seen in that regard, and how do you think that's kind of been able to come together?
Well, I mean, I think anytime you don't, missing kicks is, you know, that brings attention to everything. So when you miss a bunch of kicks, I mean, it's tough for the whole special teams. So it's been nice with just making those this year and our high percentage of it, but also eliminating blocks. I think our returners our whole return game, whether it's punt return or kick return, I think has improved each week since week 1. I think these last 5 weeks has kind of even taken off, especially in the kickoff return. So I think everyone just being more consistent, continuing to work at it, and not allowing a bad play to happen that can kind of sour. You can let one bad play happen and it kind of sours all 15. So I think it's giving those guys more confidence each week.
With the kick return, is anything particular that is working for Sky here? You mentioned the last 5 weeks that it seems that it's taken.
I just think the more reps guys get, the more confidence they get. You know, I think Sky's always been a threat. And I think D-Rob, I don't know how many times D-Rob's done in his career, none that I know of. So I know that was new for him. But both of those guys just being the same guys back there, Sky since the beginning and D-Rob, I want to say since like week 3 or 4. But they just keep getting better at it. And the better they get at it, the more confidence they get. The more confidence they get, I think the more confidence guys get blocking for them, the more motivated guys do, and you just collectively get better.
You go up against the wide 9 in practice and all summer long. Is Schwartz's version of it any different? What makes him such a challenge?
Not different with the front 4 and how they're coached. Changes a little bit with how they play their linebackers and their secondary. That's where it changes. But I mean, Jim's as good of a coordinator as there is. And when you're as good of a coordinator as there is and you have the talent that they have, it's a pretty lethal combination.
KB's snap count has tapered off a little bit the last few weeks. Is that just a case of too many mouths to feed or trying to get D-Rob more involved?
No, it's just Ricky was our starting Z, and when he went down, we moved KB to our starting Z. And when you're a starter, usually you get the ball a lot more and you get to play a lot more. Ricky has pretty good stamina, so we don't rotate him as much. And D-Rob's done a good job owning our F role. So it's been nothing against KB, but I don't like that. I'd love to get him out more than we have the last 2 weeks.
Kyle Shanahan is the team's Art Moody Sportsmanship Award nominee again. What are some of the intangibles he brings that we don't get to see?
Just how good of a football player he is. I mean, there's nothing that you put in that, I mean, guys could do stuff on paper. They can do it when it's all like set up and lined up exactly how you tell them it's going to be. But Kyle, just almost everything's slow motion for him. You get that for some quarterbacks and things like that. Sometimes the game slows down for people, but to have a fullback like that is different. The way he can maneuver through fronts with a lot of stuff going on, and even when it isn't the guy, even when other people take the wrong guy, and he can just naturally adjust and go take their guy, like you wouldn't even notice someone made a bust. So Kyle's just, I mean, and when we throw the ball to him, it doesn't matter how big of a moment, what the situation is. He always comes down with it. He gets up the field after the catch as good as anyone on our team, and just one of the better football players I've ever been around.
You won't open the practice window for anyone this week?
No.
How is Yetur Gross-Matos doing with his recovery?
He's coming along. It's been a tough year for him, missing all training camp, and with his knee, and then when you do that and you come back, it makes you so susceptible to other things, and that's kind of what's been a story a little bit this year. But he's got a chance to come back, and he's working real hard at it, and I think we'll have a chance here after the bye.
What is it about Myles Garrett that makes him so difficult to scheme for?
Even coming out to college, he's one of the most talented guys that I think anyone's ever looked at, just from height, weight, and speed, how long his arms are. When you measure just get off, his helmet crosses the line of scrimmage faster from an analytics standpoint than anyone in the NFL. So that means his get off's amazing. When you put that with amazing ability that to me comes around very generationally, and then you got a guy who's played in a similar system for a while, who stayed healthy, who's doing it over and over again and trying to be great. And when you have all that, how can you not be what he is? So it's been extremely impressive.
On practice windows, on practice windows, I assume that next week you wouldn't open any practice windows.
No, not next week. Yeah.
Is Myles just a guy who gets better and better as he keeps playing?
Yeah, he does. He's that talented, and he works at it that much. He plays hard. He goes. He's always rushing the quarterback, yet being a real problem in the run game too. So he's like a number of those top guys. When you just look at his true ability too, he seems to separate himself from those top guys also. All right, thanks, guys.
You guys.
What are your thoughts on Jier Sanders and what you saw on film on Sunday?
He's a good young quarterback. He's mobile. He's got big arm, tremendous confidence, and he made a couple of really, really good throws in the game against Vegas, extending plays, getting out of the pocket, delivering the ball where it needed to be delivered. Obviously, showed good command of the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. You anticipate someone like him who's got that confidence, who has that skill set, he's just going to get better and better every week.
You talked a lot about Jier and kind of getting him back in and progressing. Did you expect him to kind of have a breakthrough game at some point, and how satisfying was it to see it kind of happen?
I don't know about breakthrough or anything like that. I do know what's been great is he does get better every week. And this goes back to training camp. He missed some time during OTAs with the injury, comes in training camp, kind of gets bad news that he was going to be that he wasn't going to start, but we carved out a role for him so he could stay involved, and whether he liked it or not, you couldn't tell. Attacked the heck out of it, did everything that we asked, and really helped everybody around him. Was even helping the young kid at safety, Siegel, trying to get him squared away, and when he was given another opportunity to go back at safety, he's improved every single week. Definitely wanting to make sure that he can slam the door and make sure that he leaves no doubt that he's the safety. So, long story short, I still think he's going to continue improving. The biggest thing I would take away from the game for him last week is I felt like he was playing football, not football. And I always tell players, you can be a football player and do exactly what the book tells you to do, but you're the one out there shooting bullets. You're the one that's playing football. And like this second interception was just him playing football. If he did it by the book, he wouldn't have made that play. And so he's improving big time with regard to understanding the game and being more of a football player.
By the book, what was he supposed to be?
He's supposed to be in the deep middle.
Coach, if he is out of position, trying to anticipate something, are you having a talk with him? It seems like a pretty...
There's balance, to whom much is given, much is required, right? If you study enough tape, we talk about in a game, if you say there's 60 plays, there might be 3 or 4 times in a game where you just know what that play is going to be. You know it. And you've got to have the confidence through film study and the confidence in one another, confidence in your teammates and coaches, and we got to have confidence in our players that when they know, they go take that shot. Because those are the plays when you look at a game, it's like, oh man, he had 2 interceptions, he had a TFL. Well, those were the I knew plays, and I think that's what he did a great job of on Monday night, taking advantage of those opportunities.
How does Upton Stout developed maybe a greater feel in pass coverage
Yeah,
in this game?
same thing. Just it's reps. He's one of the more deliberate guys on this team. It's super important to him. He puts in a lot of work in film study, and he's always asking questions. And shoot, on Friday or Friday night, he sent me over a text of a still shot of a video from Friday's practice. Hey, if I was in and he talked about a completely different coverage and a completely different concept than the one we gave him, and was asking if they did this out of that look, what would it be? And which is a different level of thinking for a rookie. And so he's watching things the right way, and he's growing. And like I said, he's deliberate. So he's been getting better every week. And again, he's another young man that fully expect him to get better and better and continue getting better. And hopefully he's hitting his stride when we really need him to.
Like Curtis Robinson worked to get into the spot that he's in, and then to come in and have two pretty strong performances, having to go now against the Cleveland Browns, against a young quarterback, but being able to kind of keep the defense in it. What'd you think of his performance in his last game? What do you expect out of him against the Cleveland Browns?
I thought he did a really nice job. Like I know that he didn't fill the stat sheet up, and I'm sure from his perspective he would love to have had that happen, but you just try to put yourself in a guy in his shoes. He's had a lot of battles trying to find his way back into this, to get this opportunity on that stage with the type of game it was, playoff implications and all that on Monday night, where the entire football world's watching. I thought he did an outstanding job keeping calm, relaying, communicating, taking care of the huddle on the sidelines, making the adjustments that needed to be made, and he'll close the gap to allow him to make some of the plays that I know that he wishes he had back. But I thought he was outstanding in that regard, and again, I expect him to get a little bit better this week. And same as everybody else, like it means something to him, and because of that, he will get better.
Jier Brown did an interview, and he cited your passion as something that he really loved, and that you get, you're here early and you're fired up, and does coach passion equal player passion? I mean, where did that philosophy of coaching come from, and do you show that passion to the players so that you get that back from them?
I don't know. I think everyone's different. I try to stay calm during the week because there's a lot of teaching going on, and I've tried to explain it before. Like my passion on game day is because of when Jier makes the play he makes on the second interception, and the amount of work that he put in for that one moment, right? Like there's people look at it as one play, but there's probably 6 hours dedicated to that one moment, and it happened. And so the joy you're seeing on the field is for him, and the amount of work that that he went through, and the amount of trial and error that he had to go through. And there was actually a couple plays in the game where he was that close, and it was like, just keep doing what you're doing, it's going to happen. So it's more jubilation for him than anything else, and for the player when they're having success. And so you just can't, for me, I just can't help but let that out. And so whether it affects the guys, I have no idea, because I know that for them, they're already motivated and inspired to do the best they can. And shoot, Kyle already does an unbelievable job with his messaging. So I don't know. I don't think they need it from me. It's just my personal deal.
You guys could have weather on Sunday. As far as the pass rush, can that hinder a Myles Garrett, a Bryce Huff, as far as getting off the line and just getting an edge on the lineman?
It could, because if the footing's not firm, and it could be a little softer, grass giving way because it might be a little bit wetter. It could affect their get off. I don't know if anything in the world can affect Myles. Maybe if he wants to take a day off. But
Dion Sanders present. How is the Browns' offense different with him at quarterback?
We only have a game and a half to go off of, but they're going to run the ball. No one's really giving the young man attention, and that's the back. I mean, he's freaking good. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Number 10, he's really good. Judy's really good. They've gotten Malachi Corley involved. The rookie tight end's doing a really nice job. So they're a really good offense. They've got a style to them. Shador, he came in over the last week and a half. Like, his off-schedule stuff is going to be a problem. You could already tell that. As he gets comfortable in what they're asking him to do, he's only going to get better because you could tell how important it is to him and how much work he's going to put into it. And a guy who's as good, as gifted as he is, both physically and mentally, and with the confidence he has, you just know he's going to get better. So they'll evolve as an offense. I wish I could tell you exactly what it's going to be. We have an idea of what it's going to be on Sunday, but I'm sure they're going to keep adding little wrinkles to help him grow as a football player, and we're just going to have to be great in those moments and play good, sound, fundamental football.
Watch any of his college tape?
No, it's for style of play, which we're already familiar with, just going through the evaluation process. Our scouts do a phenomenal job just giving us a rundown of who he was as a college player, but usually he's going to play within the structure. His style of play shows up, but what they're asking him to do and within the structure of the offense will be what Cleveland is. Yep. Appreciate you guys.
When you sit down to go through Monday's game, what were the first kinds of things that you wanted to take a look at?
I mean, just take it one drive at a time and see how the game went and the momentum and, what I was thinking in the moment. And then just looking at my fundamentals, how did I look with my footwork and where my eyes are at, all those kind of things. And then obviously going over the mistakes and, being critical of myself, but also asking myself, all right, where do we go from here? How do I get better? How do I change it? So that's really what I'm asking myself.
After the game, you said you wanted to look at the film to see why you weren't driving your throws the way you normally would. Did you find what you were looking for? And if so, what was it?
I think, the pick to Ricky was on the run. Like, how can I throw the ball better on the run or set my feet quick and drive the ball? And I left the ball up high, and he got it. The one to JJ, that one is just strictly just throw the ball. I was laying it to a spot where he can go get it, but he had the guy beat, and, I can't take an extra hitch and throw the ball like that. I gotta put it on him. He won right away. And then the one to Ricky was I took a extra hitch. I should have hitched and thrown it right away and anticipated better. And that one was just a matter of being late. So that's what I saw in the film.
I feel like missing time has sort of affected your timing a little bit in these last couple of games.
It's just, reps and playing football again and getting back into it. So, but there's also some good plays that I've made too. So I can't just say because I threw 3 picks in one half, my timing and everything's off. It's give or take with all that. So for me, it's keep practicing, keep playing, and try to be real about it. Not try to have any more excuses.
Will you experiment with a glove at all this week, just given what you might be facing in Cleveland on Sunday?
No, will not.
Did you ever win in Iowa State?
I never did. No.
Do you have any concern in these conditions that you kind of struggle at all to just really grip it and rip it in these conditions?
Possibly. I think that's any quarterback in the NFL. If it's some kind of rain or if the ball's wet, it does change. The mindset of taking care of the ball, but at the same time, you do have to drop back. You got to throw it on time, and if it's not there in time, let's be smart with the ball. So I don't know. I think it just depends on how hard it's raining and really what the conditions are when we get there in the moment. But I don't think I've played in rain before, and I've made it happen before. I've gotten the job done before in it, so I'm not gonna be afraid or change anything in terms of my preparation going into the week. So.
Brock, Juice is the nominee for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, and it made George and Christian laugh just a little because they said he's such a trash talker. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. Now Juice is the man. He's got a great public, aura, like we've talked about before. But yeah, just around the boys, man, he loves to talk trash to us and sort of humble everyone else around him. He's a vet. He's been in the league for a while, so. But good for him. I'm glad he's got another award.
How much more alert do you have to be this week for the guy that's going to be in this line of vision with Myles Garrett coming at you?
Yeah, obviously, I think the best in the league at what he does, and you have to have a game plan ready for him, and more than anything, understand you can't be holding on to the ball too long, So, and that's, I think any quarterback could say that about him. We all have his respect. So it's going to be a good challenge for all of us, and I'm excited for our game plan to go in and compete. But across the board, their defense in general is really good. So it's obviously 95, but the rest of the guys that they got too, they're a really good squad.
Brock, we've talked in the past about that chip on the shoulder and having something to prove, and I just get this feeling this offensive line has that vibe right now, that your offensive line has this vibe of hey, we've been downed. They look like they got something to prove. Do you just sense that?
Definitely. I think we've had some new faces and stuff that have come in and played, and we have the vets that have been playing together too, but it's changed, since the last couple of years. And I think just as a whole, it's, how can we get back to, and for them, our mindset of let's run the ball, man, and run it down. All the gaps, doesn't matter if it's a gap or outside, they're up for the challenge and they're ready for it. And, but that's been their mindset all year. It's just, now I feel like we've come to a point in the season where everyone's playing together, everything's clicking, but those guys are dogs, man, and they're going to continue to get better, even though we're late in the year. So I love their mindset and everything that they do, the run game, pass game. So we got the right guys in the room there.
You mentioned the Browns' personnel. From a schematic standpoint, what does Jim Schwartz kind of bring to the table? What are some of the staples that makes his defense successful? And what do you remember about facing the 23?
Yeah, I mean, just, they're sound in their coverages, a tough defense. They rally. On film, like, you just see guys flying all over the place. And so when you're watching film and you see a defense like that, it's like, okay, like, it's going to be one of those games, man. It's a blue-collared game. And, they've played everybody really well. Offensively, I feel like they've shut down a lot of offenses. And, it's a credit to Jim Schwartz and how he, coaches up his defense. And so going back to 23 was the same thing. It was a gritty kind of game. It wasn't the prettiest, but you got to find a way somehow, some way. And, when there's a big play, you got to take advantage of it. So, but a lot of props to him and how he's done it throughout, his career as a coach and stuff, but nothing but respect.
Brock, you and Ricky have both had some time off. Where are you guys at in rebuilding the chemistry that we saw during training camp?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still just chipping away at it, not trying to, hang our heads down or anything like that about, the last 2 games. And obviously I want to get Ricky the ball. He's explosive, he's dynamic. He's a great teammate, a brother of mine. Like, I want the best for him. So it's just about the opportunity that we get in the game. Like, we got to capitalize on it. I got to continue to trust and rep the routes and plays together at practice, and then I know that that'll carry over to the game. So, I have 100% faith that it'll pick up.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.